everyone, Dana from Xojo here. We're going to continue along with our Intro to Xojo programming course. In today's tutorial, we will continue improving our personal expenses app. We still need to improve how the bar chart is displayed, so we're going to focus on that in this chapter. We added more categories and expenses already, so our graphics bar's canvas subclass needs to display more bars than the available width. So if we click on the Show Stats button, we can see how the by default available space is not enough to display all of the graphic bars. So we need to resize the containing window. If we reduce the window width and click on the scroll bar button, then we can see how a new horizontal scroll bar is displayed right below the chart, where we only need to slide the scroll bar to see the bars. The scroll bar adjusts itself on the fly as we change the containing window width and also when we change our bar width. In addition, the improved chart control will also react when the right arrow is pressed and the left arrow keys, offering the same behavior that you get when sliding the scroll bar. What changes do we need to do in the existing code to get this? The first thing you need to do is add a new container control from the library to the navigator panel and set its name to graphic bar in the inspector panel. The container control is really powerful because it allows us to create composed controls. You can lay out as many controls as you may need in a container control, and then use that container directly in the layout of your app's windows. The main advantage is that ideally you should design these container controls so they expose a public programming interface to the outer code. The rest of the code or controls in your app shouldn't access the container controls directly in the embedded container control. These should only be accessed through the exposed public methods, properties, and events added to the container control itself. This is the technique that we'll use here. You can see how we added a graphics bar instance to the container control, as well as a scroll bar control from the library. So our composed UI control only needs these two to conform to the bar chart UI. With the container control layout in place, the next step is to add the public interface to be used by any code wanting to deal with the bar chart UI. The first thing we're going to do is add the same public methods and properties already found in the original graphics bar's canvas subclass. Here you can see the two bars methods, one of them that retrieves the array of bar instances directly by calling the same method signature on the graphics bar's one instance, now in the container control, and the second method in charge of setting the array of bar instances to the graphics bar. Another new addition we use here are the computed properties. The main differences over regular properties is that when we add a new computed property to the selected item in the navigator, the IDE adds a new property composed of two methods, get and set. As with the regular properties, when we add these computed properties to the item, we can still use the inspector panel to set the property name, the property type, and also its scope. In this case, we're adding these computed properties using the same names as types as the ones available in the graphics bar class. And as it was also the case with the methods, the code for the get property simply returns the value available in the bar width property from the graphics bar 1 instance. The set method associated with the bar width calculated property simply sets the received value as the value for the bar width property on the graphics 1 bar. And we replicate the same behavior for the flat color and shadow calculated properties. A fourth calculated property added to the graphics bar container control is the one named hasScrollBar. The main difference here is that in addition to the get and set methods, it has its own backed regular property named mHasScrollBar with a private scope. So that's not visible from this container control code. The getter simply returns the value from the private property, while the code in the setter method is in charge of switching the visibility for the scroll bar 1 control accordingly to the Boolean value received. Also, if the scroll bar is visible, then it will decrease the height of the graphics bar 1 instance, subtracting the height of the scroll bar itself, while it sets the graphics bar 1 height to the container control height when the scroll bar's visible property is set to false. Finally, it will call the redraw method on the graphic bar's 1 instance in order to display the chart adjusted to the new height. This is a new method added to the graphics bar subclass that we'll review a bit later. We also need to add some event handlers to the graphic bar container control itself. Key down, open, and resizing. The code for the open handler, we will simply set the scroll bar 1 control as the value for the new scroll bar control property on the graphics bar subclass. The code for the resizing handler simply will call a new redraw method on the graphics bar's 1 instance. Last, the code in the keydown event handler will catch the press of the right arrow and left arrow keys, using the ASCII value of the received key as a string, increasing or decreasing the current value of the scroll bar accordingly. Next, we need to add the value change handler in the scroll bar 1 control instance so our code can react when the user changes the scroll slider. Once more, we call the redraw method on the graphics bar 1 instance. So as we can see, our graphic bar container control exposes as its public interface the same methods and properties we already had in the graphics bar subclass that we created 2 chapters ago. In fact, we need to add a few new things to the graphic bar subclass. We added max label W and max value as new properties. In addition, we also added the scroll bar control property. We also copied the code in charge of calculating the widest label from the bar instances and the maximum height from the paint event and moved it to a new redraw method. Also in the paint event, we changed the bar instances iteration from using a for each block to a regular for next loop. So we can now use the current value of the scroll bar slider as the starting value for the loop. Then the for each will iterate and display the bar's instances from that starting index until the last bar instance available in the array. Looking inside the new redraw method, we can see the code move from the paint handler. But because we lack a graphics context, we need to create a backing one in order to use the text width method from the graphics class to retrieve the width value from the widest available label in the bar instances. The way to get that is by creating a new instance from the picture class, using its constructor method to provide the width and height value of the picture. That's the width and height values of the graphics bar's instance at that time. Then we iterate the bar instances to get the widest label value and also the highest bar value. If we have a reference to a scroll bar, remember that's the one stored in the scroll bar control property, then we can calculate the maximum number of displayable bars in the available width. If that number is less than the amount of bar instances, then it would mean that we can display all of them. So we set the maximum value property of the scroll bar to 0. Otherwise, we set the maximum value property of the scroll bar control to the difference between the number of bars and the maximum number of displayable bars. Quite simple. Once we have all the needed values, the redraw method simply calls the refresh method on the control itself. Because the public interface for our graphic bar container control is using the same method and properties signatures, we don't need to change the existing code in the Windows Stats window. The only change we need to do in the Windows Stats window is delete the previously added graphic bars instance and add a new instance from our container control to the window layout. Adding an instance of our new container control is as simple as dragging it from the navigator to the window layout editor at the desired place. Once done, don't forget to close all of the 4 little locks in the inspector panel so the container control resizes when the parent window is resized. You can see how we added a graphics bar instance to the container control as well as a scroll bar control from the library. So our composed UI control only needs these two to conform to the bar chart UI. The existing code from our graphics bars subclass still works as expected, drawing the bars proportionally when the user changes the window height. Thanks to the use of container controls, the scroll bar, and calculated properties, we've been able to improve the way our bar chart works. That's all. I hope you found this tutorial interesting. If you want to go back and look at the changes we made to the original graphics bar canvas subclass, you can go back a few videos and check that out. In summary, in this chapter, we learned about how flexible the container controls can be and also about computed properties, allowing you to do something else every time a new value is set from the property. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please ask us in the comments. We'll see you next time.